I'm at Portoroz in Slovenia on the Adriatic coast in the F-4E Phantom, and very first flight, a little bit nervous, palms are a bit sweaty to be honest. So it'll be a brief flight, probably about 8 minutes. I won't be talking much about the scenery because I'll just be trying to keep this bird in the air and then hopefully landing. Right, landing lights on, I've done all the pre-flight checks I can do. Parking brake off. It's funny not having any HUD readout, but here we go. Coming up through 90%, toe brakes are off. Nice sounds there. Let's go full burner. 120 knots, I'm going to start to rotate. Hold the stick back a bit more. Sounds like we're off the ground, tap the brakes. Wheels up and flaps up at 260. Take it very easy here, it's not going to be...
MiGMan 007, continue for self-departure.
Not going to be an F-16 or... Copy that.
MiGMan 007, leaving my airspace frequency change approved.
Copy that.
Portoroz Tower MiGMan 007 frequency change.
Okay, let's come out of burner. Wow, almost at Mach 1. In fact, yeah, Mach 0.9 basically. Okay, so it's certainly very sprightly. So let's turn back up the coast, head to waypoint 1, which is the town of Portoroz. We're basically following this bay around, you can see to the north, going up to Trieste and then coming straight back across the water. So I won't have to think very much about where I'm going. Just keep the blue stuff on the left and it should be okay. Right, hand off the stick, relax, and let's get some up trim going as speed bleeds back. I'm going to go back to idle actually. We're still doing 520 knots. Whew. And when I get established, I'll try some of the GoPro cameras I've gaffer taped onto the airframe. Let's try this. There we go. That's nice. Also nice. We'll check out the undercarriage later. And I've got a couple more, right and right wing. Cool. Let's get back in the pit. Right, now let's get the trim down so I can fly a bit hands-free. I'm still at 360 knots with the throttles at idle. Come back to 364. Here's the town of Portoroz. Now we'll just follow the coast basically. And there's a nice castle about halfway around. So let's crank it up. Keep this short and sweet. Also over the water, not as many things for me to run into, which is good. 450 knots. Looking pretty sweet. I might risk, see if we can see the burner. Again. Colours are nice. I like the shock. Well, there we go, through the mark. I like, and back down through the mark. I like the cones in the afterburner. I'm going to try the air brake. It's underneath. There we go. Nice. And that just says your manoeuvre. See on the upper wings, you've got those slats that come out. And for pitch, we've got the tail, does the work by the look of it. Roll is the wings. Very cool. Let's try this view. It's pretty nice, if a bit dangerous. Righto, let's get back. I've got a few missiles on board too, which is nice. 2 AIM-9s, 2 AIM-7s. I thought I'd keep it light for this first sortie. Right, let's crank it up now along the coast, heading north. Nice wingtip vortices there. Let's get that camera at the front. There we go. Pull a few G's. That's 5 G's. 415 knots. Looking pretty good. We must do a barrel roll at this point. And it seems very nice. Actually going to go onto that wingtip cam. There we go. A lot of boats out here today. Wow. And Murray Castle. A beautiful spot. Pretty much going to hit Mark 1 as we get to it. Here we go, Mark 1. Very cool. Nice. Okay, well, nothing's gone horribly wrong. Let's get back in the pit. Crank it up. Fuel, yeah, fuel looks good. Mind you, I've only got readouts for 2 main tanks here, but sitting at 151, I guess that's 151 gallons per side. I know it's got a whole bunch of tanks. Okay, coming around the last waypoint. So what can I say about the handling? Well, a bit of trim input and nothing untowards happened. But mind you, I'm going to climb as we cross the water, test some of the low speed handlings. Get a bit of space between me and the blue and see if I can get into a little bit of trouble, but not too much.
Cessna Lima Kilo Papa traffic is 10 o'clock 4 miles at 500 feet. Report them in sight.
Just turn him down. Coming up to our second last waypoint here. Then we head straight across the water back to Portoroz. This is the entrance to a massive harbour at Trieste. Super interesting landscape here. All this reclaimed land. Very interesting. There's a huge bridge. We're going to turn left at the bridge. Let's actually go to the nose cam. Have I got that set up? Yep, there it is. There's the bridge. Let's go left, heading south, and we'll do a climb, max performance type of climb. Righto, let's push the burners in, plug them in, as they say. 20 degrees nose up, 440 knots, 460. Just keep the nose down a bit, that's 30 degrees. Let's go back to 20, and we're still accelerating. Coming up to 500 knots. Go back to 20 degrees, go through 10,000 feet. And wow, going through the mark in a climb, that's pretty impressive. Right, let's throttle back. Trim down a bit, hitting 20,000 feet already. Wow. And try a bit of low speed stuff. Almost back over Portoroz where we started. Nice and sunny up here. Right, let me get trimmed for level flight. There we go. Now I did 240 knots. Right, I'm going to speed brake out. Pull back on the stick, and whoops, still warning about 10 degrees there. Just turn my landing lights off. And now I'm much slower with that stall warning. It's about 150. So it depends how hard you pull back. So 146 knots. As you'd expect, it's pretty sluggish. Let's put the air brake in. And actually, let's look at the gear. Gear coming down. Add a bit of throttle. That's very nice. Wow. Beautiful. Landing light's going to work. Yeah, it's just hard to see up here, I think. Have a look forward. Let's raise the gear. Gear up. Pretty nice. And let's check the flaps. So 200 knots. Let's go full flaps. And while we're at 200 knots, let's... Gee, it wants to slow down. So a lot of drag there, I guess. 170 knots. Let's... Yep, well, that's pulling back to about 2G, 45 degree bank, 185 knots. And yeah, it wants to stall at that point. Which is fair enough. Let's go 1 degree, 1 stage flaps. Same deal, 185 knots. About 2G, okay. That's good to know. Right, hey, let's get the flaps up. And I'll try a split S. Throttle back. That's 3G. 280 knots. Yeah, no drama at all. Beautiful. Okay. Time for my first landing, hopefully. Let's talk to Portoroz. That will do us.
Portoroz Tower MiGMan 0078 8 miles southwest, 7,900 feet to land.
Throttle's right back. Wiping my hands.
MiGMan 007 Portoroz Tower. Altimeter 29.9er 21177 at 4.
Check that.
Fly right traffic runway 15.
15, let's dial that in. Copy that.
Enter right traffic runway 15 MiGMan 007.
Okay, 480 knots, so I've got plenty of smash up. Still idle. I like the sounds that come in there as you pull, as we go through 4G. You can hear the kind of roaring sound, which is nice. All good cues to let you know what the airframe's doing. So right, I've got a beacon tuned in. No, I do not this time. But we should be able to see the runway about 1 o'clock. Pretty sure it's all covered with snow, of course, but it's on the right on the water there. He said runway 15, so to the south.
MiGMan 007 wind 177 at 4. Clear to land runway 15.
Copy that.
Clear to land runway 15 MiGMan 007.
There it is. So I've scribbled some notes here. 350 knots, 4G turn. Let's do that. 4G. Looking for about 170 on landing. I need a bit of speed brake here. And I'm pretty high. Runway in sight. Gear down. Flaps 1. Speed brake still out. Fuel's good. Speed brake in. I think I go full flaps. 180 knots. 170. Watch I don't 166. I've got a bit low there, but let's let it sink. I think we'll be right. Speed brake out. Beautiful sounds. Toe brakes on. Throttle is right back. Does it have a brake chute? I do not think so, but I think we'll be right. I've got to say I love those rattling sounds. Yeah, 40 knots will be good.
MiGMan 007 exit
Just.
runway when able.
Wouldn't want to cut it much closer. But there we go, nice turning circle as you'd expect from a aircraft that can get around on carriers. Using some left differential thrust there, just the left engine. Shoo-wee. If you're wondering why I didn't look down at the speed, I've got a physical cockpit here that's telling me that.
MiGMan 007 exit runway when able.
So there we go, first flight and first landing. Yippee. Love the sounds, very atmospheric. I think I'm going to really enjoy flying this Mark.